Hello, dear students. I am Samir Velankar. I welcome all of you to this second video on the topic Traveling Salesman Problem. Well, in the earlier video, in the first video, we saw what the problem is on a complete weighted directed graph, and we saw how difficult the problem is to solve if you want to find out minimum cost tour of the graph. Now, minimum cost tour of the graph, which begins with 1 and ends with 1 using brute force method, was found as these two tours are the best tours which give you minimum cost of 27. But only with 4 vertices. When we had v equal to 4 vertices, we had 6 tours. And we had to check all these tours and compute their cost. Cost of each tour was computed by adding the weights. And then the minimum was found, isn't it? So just imagine if we have 6 vertices, then how many tours we will have, is v minus 1 factorial tours we will have. That means we will have 5 factorial tours, which is 120 tours. And then we will have to list down all those 120 tours and then find out their costs and find out the minimum. Now, this is really time consuming. Just with 6 vertices, you watch, the problem is becoming as good as next to not possible. For instance, what if we had 1000 vertices, as I was mentioning in the earlier video, then we will have for 1000 vertices, we will have in all 99 factorial tours to be checked and compute their costs and then select minimum. This is too time consuming, isn't it? That's why we got the analysis or time complexity using brute force method was big O of v factorial. Now we have an alternate approach to solve the traveling salesman problem, which is dynamic approach. Now dynamic approach will not take that much amount of time, which is big O of v factorial, but definitely in advance I will tell you that dynamic method is not going to be super fast as compared to brute force method. In fact, very early I am telling that TSP problem, traveling salesman problem, has not been solved comprehensively by anyone till now. That means the time complexity of TSP is huge for any method that you opt for. One of the methods is dynamic, which is better than brute force. Now for our representation, I have shown the graph and its adjacency matrix. Again, you know that it is a complete weighted directed graph, and the adjacency matrix shows all the weights. And you know the problem, we have to start from our source vertex 1, this is our home, and then visit every vertex exactly once and come back to 1. Now what is dynamic method? Here we go. What we do in dynamic method, is that we define a function. Let's define a function. Let's name the function as x. Usually we name the function as f, say f of x or something like that. But here I have named the function as x just for a change. Nothing extraordinary about that. And you note that x is the function which has parameters I comma s. Now these two are the parameters. I have purposely written s in capital. Here I is some vertex of the graph. Take some vertex of the graph, okay? And S is nothing but set of vertices. So S is actually a set. I repeat, I is some vertex and S is the set of vertices, okay? But there is some property associated with this set S. Now, the constraint on the set S, you just read this sentence, the constraint on this set S or limitation on this set S is that I is not element of S at all. So whatever vertex you choose as I, that vertex should not be member of the set S. And one more very important property is vertex 1 is implicitly present in the set S. Let me explain what I mean by this. Suppose I write the function x, as let's say 2. That means I is 2, I is the vertex. And now I am writing the set. This is the set S. Now what is mentioned as the constraint on the set S is that this 2 should not be member of this particular set. Of course, S, the set we are talking about, is set of vertices. But whatever I you have selected as a vertex should not be member of set S. So we can write vertex 3, vertex 4 for our example. But what about vertex 1? You need not write vertex 1. You should not write it because 1 is implicitly present in this set. Because 1 is our home, then that vertex 1 is implicitly present in this particular set S. Just as another example, suppose I write this function x with two parameters again. First parameter is 3. What that means is I is 3, I is the vertex. And next follows the set, this set S. But the limitation on set S is of course set of all vertices, but the limitation is this vertex 3 should not be member of this set. So what we can write here is 2 comma 4. As there are 4 vertices, 1, 2, 3, 4 in our example, I have written 2 comma 4, but what about vertex 1? Vertex 1 is always in this set. We implicitly assume that 1 is there in this set. So till now, I was explaining the function with its parameters. What are those two parameters I and S? Now I will tell you what this function means and what the function does. Now this function x, let's read out a few things. This function x, will give minimum cost of the tour which starts at vertex number I. Vertex number I. In general, I am writing now vertex number I, and then the tour goes through all the vertices of set S, and ends at 1. Ends at 1. Okay. So let's see what I mean by this. Suppose I write x 2 comma 3 4. You know why I have not included 2 in this set? You know the constraint. And you know why I have not included 1? Because 1 is implicitly there. Now what this function is going to return, functions always return a value in general. So what the function is going to return, it's going to tell us if 2, 3, if you start your tour from 2, let's say, if you start your travel from vertex 2, you start your travel from vertex 2, then you visit all the vertices of set S. That means you are going to start from vertex 2, okay? Then you will visit all the vertices of set S. Now set S is having 3 and 4. And importantly, after visiting 3 and 4, you have to return back to 1 because 1 is always there in this set, isn't it? What did I say? Start your tour from vertex I. I is 2 in this example. Check this. I is 2. Start your tour from 2. Then visit 3 and 4 because these are the members of the set S. Visit 3 and 4. And then go to 1, obviously, because 1 is the member of the set S. This is the tour we want, isn't it? This is the travel we want. Now you will agree there are two ways of doing. You can go from 2 to 3, then 3 to 4, then 4 to 1. This is one way, isn't it? But the other way around is that instead of going from 2 to 3, how about going from 2 to 4 first? You know that it is a complete graph. 2 to 4, then 4 to 3, and then 3 to 1, and then 3 to 1. So are you agreeing that in both the cases, we have started our travel from 2? It says that you start your travel from I is 2 in this example, and then we have to visit 3 and 4. We have to visit 3 and 4. Somehow we have to visit 3 and 4. It's not that 2, then 3, then 4, then 1. It can be 2, 3, 4, 1, or it can be 2, 4, 3, 1. Oh, yes, the set S. This is a set, isn't it? And in set, order doesn't matter. So we can take these two vertices, 3 and 4, as 3, 4 or 4, 3. That means two possibilities are there. If you start your travel from vertex I, that is 2, visit 3, 4 or 4, 3 and come back to 1. These are the two ways which I have marked over here. And the function will check both these possibilities and will give you minimum out of the two. It will tell that after using both these methods, which method will help us in getting minimum which gives the tour or travel which starts from vertex 2, goes to 3 and 4 and returns back to 1. So that's what has been elaborated in this sentence over here. I hope you are listening very carefully. Trust me, only first few things about this function x and its notation are a bit tricky. Once you understand this, the entire dynamic approach is very easy. You just tell me what is x234. It means start your travel from vertex 2. After traveling vertex 2, you go to either 3 4 or 4 3 in any combination and then come back to 1. So, two possibilities here are you will go from 2 3 4 1. Observe 3 and 4 are the members of set S, and 1 is always there in set S. 1 is an implicit member. The other possibility is 2 4 3 1. So what is the cost of this particular travel? It is 2 to 3 added with 3 to 4 added with 4 to 1. So if you find out the cost, it will be 2 to 3 is 12. I am referring the matrix above. 2 to 3 is 12, 3 to 4, 3 to 4 observe is 15, and 4 to 1 is 5. So this is going to be 20 plus 12, which is 20 plus 12, which is 32. And the second travel is 2 to 4. You observe 2 to 4 is 6 in the matrix, and 4 to 3 is 8, and 3 to 1 is 9. So this is going to be 16 plus 9, which is 25. Now, these two travels were possible from 2 to 1, having intermediate vertices as 3 and 4, isn't it? You can either take 3 4 or 4 3, and the best out of that was 25. So you will say that if you want to go from vertex 2 to vertex 1 with intermediate vertices 3 and 4, then it is better not to go as 2 3 4 1, but it is better to go as 2 4 3 1, because this is going to give us the minimum distance 25. I hope you have understood. Let me rewind this again with a very short example again. Suppose I have x3, and then I have written 2 4. You know the reason why I have written 2 4. 3 can't be member of this set. That's the constraint, and 1 is implicit member of the set S. Now we want to know if we start our travel from 3, then go to 2, then go to 4, and then back to 1. 1 is always there in the set, isn't it? Or Or listen, it can be this way. Start your travel from 3, then instead of going to 2, you better go to 4 first. 3, 4, then go to 2, and finally come back to 1. That means you are taking this set S as really a set, and you say you will start your travel from vertex I, that is 3, then visit these vertices 2, 4 in any order, and then come back to 1. Now, there are two possibilities, and you want the best one out of that because you are trying to minimize the cost, isn't it so? So, the two possibilities for this x3 to 4, x3 2 comma 4 are 3 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 1, or 3 to 4, 4 to 2, and 2 to 1. Now, the cost of this tour will be 3 to 2. As you refer the matrix above, 3 to 2 is 10. So, it will be 10 plus 2 to 4. 2 to 4, as you refer the matrix, is 6 plus 4 to 1. 4 to 1 is 5. So the total distance over here will be 21. But what about the other travel, 3 to 4? Now 3 to 4, as you observe, is 15 plus 4 to 2. 4 to 2 is 2 plus 2 to 1. 2 to 1 is 5. So the total distance here will be 20, isn't it? Now you will say that best thing to travel from 3, start your travel from 3 and then go to 2 4 and then come back to 1, is that you better go as 3 4 2 1 instead of 3 2 4 1, because 20 will be the minimum cost of this travel. So this is what this function is going to find out. Can we generalize this now? Check this. Let's take a mathematical approach here. Check this function. Xi comma s. What is xi comma s? It is minimum of gi comma j plus x j comma s minus j. Oh, good lord, what is all this? Watch that. X I comma s is nothing but minimum of, check this, it is minimum of gij. Now, obviously, our travel must begin with vertex I, isn't it? That's what we are saying. Travel must begin with vertex I, and then we will go to one of the vertices of set S plus x plus x j comma, because we have already gone from I to j. So now we are going to continue our travel from j and visit all the vertices of S except j, because we have already traveled the vertex j. So this is what we are going to find out, minimum of all this. Now what is j over here? You know, I is our initial vertex. What is j? J is element of S. So this will be done. J will be taken as each element of S, and each element of S will be taken, and we will be finding minimum out of that. Trust me, you will understand this formula as we proceed. Just as before we start solving the problem, here is one more case. Check this. There is one notation here. If I write x I comma null set, what does that mean? Our travel must begin with I. Then it should travel all the vertices of set S. Listen very carefully. We will start our travel from vertex I, then we will travel all the vertices of set S. But hello, set S does not have any vertices. It is null set. No, 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 really. It contains vertex 1. It is implicitly present, isn't it? So what is the travel which begins from vertex I and goes nowhere? Null set it is, but it definitely ends at 1. Are you understanding? So this is going to be the travel. As an example, suppose if I write x 2 comma null set, then we are starting our travel from vertex 2 and S is empty. That means it should start from vertex 2 and end at 1. 1 is always there in set S. So what will be the total cost of this travel? Come on, it will be 2 to 1. That means it is going to be our adjacency matrix, second row, first column. I hope you understand. Come again. What will be x 4 comma null set? Just check this. What will be x 4 comma null set? It will be nothing but the cost of this particular travel will be G41, because the travel begins with 4 and ends at 1. So this is the only path that we are traveling, and the cost of this path will be cost between 4 to 1, which is stored in G41. So that's what the convention has been written here. X I comma null set is nothing but GI1. Okay, I hope now we are ready with what exactly are we going to learn. Here we go. We have represented the graph. Again, we have complete weighted directed graph. It is represented by adjacency matrix G with the weight shown. Now let's see how do you solve it. In pass 1 of the dynamic approach, we find 3 values. Just check the values we find are x 2 comma null set. Similarly, x 3 comma null set and x 4 comma null set. Please try to understand. In pass 1, we keep the cardinality of set S as 0. The set S is kept empty in the first pass. Okay. So we find 2 comma null set, 3 comma null set, 4 comma null set. Look, we are not finding 1 comma null set. We are not finding this. Now, the rule over here is that none of the passes will take I as 1, because 1 is our home. This vertex 1 as I will be taken only in the last step. So in this step, pass 1, we keep the cardinality of the set S as 0. There are no members in set S. And we take I from where we are going to begin our travel as 2, 3, 4, excluding 1. So you already know what do you mean by 2 comma null set. Your travel begins with 2, then it visits none of the vertices because S is empty, but obviously the travel ends at 1. So it is nothing but G21. And G21 given in the matrix is 5. Similarly, G null set will be G31. Check this what I am ticking. And G4 null set is going to be 4 to 1. Obviously 4 to 1 is 5 as given. And this ends pass 1. where we kept the cardinality of the set S as 0. There were no members in the set S. Of course, vertex 1 is always there in set S. Now step 2. Now in step 2, what we are going to do is we will be keeping the cardinality of the set S as 1. Check these steps. We are going to find these values, lot of values we have to find. These values. We'll keep the cardinality of the set S as 1, like you see this entry, x 2 comma 3. Now we are not allowing more than one member in the set S. Cardinality of the set S is kept 1. So if I keep I as 2 here, you know the rule, 2 can't be member of the set S, isn't it? So set S can contain anything other than 2. So it could have contained 3 comma 4, but we have to keep cardinality of the set S as 1. So I have included only 3. Remember, 1 is always there in this set because 1 is our source vertex. Then the other possibility is I can keep I as 2 from where we are starting our travel, and cardinality of the set S is 1, so I will keep this as 4. But I can't write x 2 comma 1. No, don't write this because 1 is implicitly there in the set S. So with I as 2, with our start of the travel as 2 and keeping the cardinality of the set S as 1, we only have two possibilities. You can keep set S as 3 or 4. What if I keep I as 3 then? I can keep S as 2. Actually, I can include 2 comma 4. 3 can't be included. I can include 2 comma 4, but 4 can't be included because cardinality of the set S has to be 1. Similarly, if I keep I as 2, I can keep set S as 4. And if I keep I as 4, I can keep S as 2, or the set S might contain with I equal to 4 as 3, isn't it? So 6 values we are supposed to find out in step 2. Listen, what does this entry mean? X23. X23 means our travel begins with 2 and goes to all vertices of set S. But there is only one vertex in set S, which is 3, and the travel must end with 1. So that's easy. You can find out the cost of this travel. Cost of this travel is cost of 2 to 3 plus cost of 3 to 1. Now starts the fun part. You see, you might think that I will find out the cost of this tour or this travel by referring the matrix 2 to 3. Of course, you have to refer 2 to 3. Observe 2 to 3 is 12. So 12 is added with 3 to 1. Then you might be driven to check this 3 to 1 again in the matrix. That is 9. But that's the fun part. You don't have to refer the matrix again for this 3 to 1 because 3 to 1 is simply given as x 3 comma null set. Are you understanding? And x 3 comma null set has been found in the earlier step here. Just check this. Just check this again. What will be x24? This entry. You have to start your travel from 2, then go to 4, and finally end it with 1. So how will you find cost of this tour? Look, you don't have to do all the hard work. Of course, for 2 to 4, you have to refer the matrix. And second row, fourth column is 6 plus. But for 4 to 1, for this 4 to 1, you don't have to refer the matrix because 4 to 1 is simply x 4 comma null set. And the good news is that we have already found x 4 comma null set in the earlier pass. So how the next pass is utilizing the result found by previous passes. And that's it. That is dynamic algorithm, isn't it? So I hope you have understood these formalizations. Check this. We are finding x23. Remember, cardinality of the set S is just 1. So what is x23? Go from 2 to 3, that is g23 plus. Finally go from 3 to 1, but 3 to 1 is given by x3 null set. So g23, I have referred the graph, is 12. 12 is added with x3 null set, but I have not referred the graph. I have referred my value which I have found here, which was 9, and 9 is added with 12 to get 21. Similarly, I have seen all these values. Just check this value just for revision. X43. What does it mean? Travel should be 4 to 3 and 3 to 1. So we will take G43 from the matrix. G43 in the matrix is 8, isn't it? Now this 8 is added to 3 to 1, but 3 to 1 is simply x3 null set, and x3 null set is 9 that we have found in the earlier step. 8 and 9 added will give 17. So all these values keeping cardinality of the set S as 1 have been found. Now step 3. I have just drawn the matrix again for the sake so that we don't have to browse up. But then now we will keep the cardinality of the set S as 2. Watch here. We are going to find out 3 values. Now what we are supposed to do is keep I as 2. If we keep I as 2, the set S can contain 2 values or 2 vertices. Now you know 2 can't be in the set. Then the only 2 vertices that we can include are 3 and 4. What about 1? Remember, 1 is always there in the set S. Now what if I keep I as 3? If I keep I as 3, then the set S is going to contain 2 values or 2 vertices, which will be 2, 4. And what if I keep X as 4? If I keep X as 4, then the set S should contain 2, 3. I hope you are understanding, isn't it? And what about 1? I'm not keeping I as 1 at all. No, I will be 1 only in the last step, when the cardinality of the set S will be 3. Okay. So these 3 values we are supposed to find out now. Let me elaborate what does that first thing means. First thing here, X 2 3 4. What do you mean by this? Start your travel from vertex 2, then go to 3 4 in any order, and then come back to 1. So watch, there are 2 possibilities, isn't it? You can go like this: 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 1. Or you can go like this: 2 to 4, 4 to 3, and 3 to 1. And what you want to do is you want to find out the cost of this travel and cost of the below travel and get the minimum. Now starts really the fun part. You see, this 2 to 3, from where the travel starts, this one which I am now encircling, is nothing but G23. You will refer the matrix for G23 is 12. Now this 12 has to be added to the remaining tour, and the remaining tour is 341. Observe this: 341. We have taken 2 to 3. Now we are talking about 341. But the good news is you just don't have to calculate this cost all over again. This is given by x 3 comma 4. Observe this, and x 3 comma 4 has been found in the earlier pass. That's the great thing about this. Watch it again. Watch this tour: 2431, or rather the travel. Now first 2 to 4 will be taken as G23. We will refer the matrix. Okay, G24, I'm so sorry. But what about the rest of this travel? 431, 431. We will not add up all the cost 4 to 3, 3 to 1 all over again, but this is simply given as X 4 3, and that we have already found in the earlier pass. So I hope you are understanding the formalization over here. Just check this. Just check. We are now finding 3 values or three functions keeping the cardinality of the set S as 2. Let's take x234. Then you can either go from 2 to 3. Then after going from 2 to 3, watch this. After going from 2 to 3, add the cost to 3 to 4 and then to 1. But that 3 to 4 and 4 to 1 is given by x34. This is one way. Or you can go from 2 to 4, isn't it? Instead of going from 2 to 3, you can start your travel from 2 to 4, isn't it? If you go from 2 to 4, then you can go from 4 to 3 and back to 1. But this x43 has been found in the earlier pass. So these values I have referred and I have written it. Just check this, that x23 from the graph is 12 from the matrix, and x34 above here is 20, isn't it? 20, comma, the other combination x24 from the matrix is 6, isn't it? 6 plus x43 from the above computation is 17. So we are going to get, we want to find out minimum of these two, that is 32 and 23, which is 23. Hence x234 has come out as 23. Come again. If you are said that you start from 2 and then go to 3 4, in any order, but ultimately come back to 1. So from here, you have to go to this set and then come back to 1. Then the better way of traveling would be go from 2 to 4 and then 4 to 3 and then to 1, because this combination gave you that 23 which we are talking about minimum. Similarly, I have found other answers like x324 has come out as 21 and x423 has come out as 23. Okay, we have found these three values now. Now the last step, the fourth step. Now finally we find only one value. Just check this. Finally, we have to find only one value. And now we will keep cardinality of the set S as 3. So there are going to be 3 elements in our set S. 3 elements. And we will keep vertex I as 1. 1 is our home source vertex, isn't it? Now you tell me, if 1 is there in this set, what can be there in S set? Keeping the cardinality as 3, it can be 2, 3, 4. And remember, 1 is always there in this set. Now what is this function going to give us? If your travel starts from 1, listen very carefully. If your travel starts from 1, and then if you visit 2, 3, 4, these vertices in any order, and then finally come back to 1, then what is the minimum cost? And hello, this is the problem that we are solving. Come on, this is the traveling salesman problem. Start at 1, go to 2, 3, 4. We don't know the order, we want best order, isn't it? So go to 3, 2, 3, 4 in any combination and come back to 1 and select that combination which will give you minimum cost. Great. So what are we going to then do? You watch. What a way to solve the problem. I mean, you just see, your travel begins with 1. So first option is you can go from 1 to 2. That's what we have written here. Go from 1 to 2. Take the distance of 1 to 2. Now, once you are at 2, then you will go from 2 to 3, 4, isn't it? Because 3, 4 are now remaining. And then you will come back to 1. 1 is always there in the set S. Are you understanding? So this particular thing is nothing but 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, or 1, 2, 4, 3, 1, isn't it? We have taken this 3, 4 either as 3, 4 or 4, 3. So two combinations are over, isn't it? But the nice part about this is that if you are saying that your travel begins from 1 and you go to 2, and from 2 you want to go to 3, 4 and then come back to 1, then you don't have to find best out of these two possibilities, because you already found out best cost that you will get if your travel begins with 2 and then visits 3, 4 and comes back to 1, and that value is given by x 234, which we have already found in the earlier pass, which was 23, isn't it? Similarly, the other way you can say is that I will go from 1 to 3 first. Okay. So if you go from 1 to 3, watch this, 1 to 3, then you are already at 3. And now you want to go from 3 to any of the vertices 2, 4 in any order and then come back to 1. So are you understanding? This is about two possibilities, 1, 3, 2, 4, 1, or 1, 3, 4, 2. And we already had two possibilities for that, this combination, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, or 1, 2, 4, 3, 1. Similarly, for 1 to 4, for this, if your visit starts from 1 to 4, then it will be 1, 4, 2, 3, 1. Observe this 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, or 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. 6 possibilities we have for 4 vertices, isn't it? Great. So finally, we will have to find minimum of these 3 possibilities. And we have referred the graph above, and the distances have been added, and we got these values, and the minimum is 27. So minimum cost tour of 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices is 27. And we know that this was the answer, because using brute force method also we got 27 as the answer. There are two tours, isn't it, which gives you this minimum cost. Well, dynamic approach will give only one of the tours. What difference it makes? Come on, because both of them are having same cost 27. So how will you get the tour? We know that the cost of the tour is 27, but how will you get that? That how the tour is designed. Well, the minimum cost is 27, but you will get this tour as follows. Start from the last step where you kept the cardinality of the set as 3. Now, which out of these three possibilities gave you minimum? Yes, the middle one. Middle one gave you the minimum, 27, which means this G14 gave you the minimum. It means that if you start your travel from 1, you will not go to 2 or you will not go to 3, but you will go from 1 to 4, because if you go from 1 to 4, you are going to get the cost of 27. So your tour should begin as 1 to 4. Now what? Now go to previous step, step 3. Step 3. Now you are already at fourth vertex because you have come from 1 to 4. So you will be checking this entry because you are already at the fourth vertex, isn't it? Now from 4, you have to decide whether you will go to 2 first or you will go to 3. Then out of the two possibilities over here, you watch both possibilities were minimum, isn't it? 23. So you can either go from 4 to 2 or you can go from 4 to 3. It makes no difference. So I will go from 4 to 3. And once we are from 1, 4, 3, there is only one vertex 2 remaining because the last vertex is 1. So 1, 4, 3, 2, 1 is the tour which will give you this cost of 27. Isn't it? That's what I have explained. You can pause the video and then check. I have explained this, and we have got the minimum cost and we have got the minimum cost tour also. The video was bit longer, I know, but I trust me, this is such interesting example of dynamic algorithm where the next pass uses the result found by previous passes. Thank you very much.